Hello everyone and welcome to episode 9 of the Pokémon Victory dev commentary and playthrough. My name is KFM and I'm the creator of this Romhack. And last time in episode 8 we spent our time exploring the Ivana Woods, more specifically the deeper parts. We went past a cut tree and found the HM for Vine Whip, which is like a grappling hook. Then we went even further in and defeated a level 40 Shiftry, which got us the Grass Resonance Orb. We also went and backtracked a bit on Route 5, and we caught a Pokemon on Route 10. But today, the plan is to head south onto Route 7. This is our team currently. It's looking pretty good. I think we're gonna start with Doduo. I don't quite remember what the upcoming battle, or the upcoming trainer I should say, has, but we're about to find out as we, just get right into it. So as we head down through this little gatehouse, which is connected to a Venomoth, by the way, if you don't remember, we very quickly run into our rival. Our first rival this time was called Brandon, who we haven't seen in a hot minute. I believe the last time we saw him was in Laminate Town, which is very near the start of the game actually, so he's been absent for a while. Or actually, correction, we did see him in the Absol story event, but that's optional. So if you don't see him in that event, this is the first time you see him in a very long time. But we see him here. He's back with a vengeance. Got 3 Pokemon this time, and in our case he starts with a Tidier, so we should be absolutely fine against him. Now, this battle used to be optional. Brandon actually used to stand outside of this gatehouse to the south and sort of wait for you to show up. And you could talk to him, battle him, but you could also just walk straight past him. And that's because back then I sort of wrote Brandon's character a little bit different. He was a bit more nonchalant, I guess. He didn't really care about battling you, so he wouldn't really run into you and battle you much. And most of the rival battles that you had were against Amy. Let's go Farfetch'd here. I think Farfetch'd is an okay play. But I changed that, so you fight Brandon a bit more. Although that being said, you don't fight him that much. This is actually the last fight with Brandon we will have in the demo. So that's only 2 fights. Fury Cutter, good damage. This fight also used to be harder. It was one of the harder fights, not the hardest, but a little bit on the harder side. I don't think this Absol has a... oh, it does have a fairy move. That shouldn't do too much. It did a lot actually, but we're fine. Absol is obviously a fully evolved Pokemon, so it's got very good stats, even though that was a 40 base power fairy move that we just got hit with. Level 19. And Bayleaf. We have lots of birds for this. Let's do... we don't have a flying move on Farfetch, let's go back to Doduo. And if you remember, Absol that he has here is obviously the Absol that we saw in the story event. It's the Absol that was sort of terrorizing this town, Venomoth City. Although it wasn't probably actually terrorizing the town, it was just passing by, but people sort of freak out when Absols appear, because they're known as the disaster Pokemon. But Brandon here managed to capture it and bring it onto his team. So that's also, like I said, if you don't see that story event... oh wow, he actually hit Grass Whistle. If you don't see that story event, you'll still find out here that he gets the Absol, because people talk about an Absol terrorizing the town or whatever, and then he shows up with an Absol, so you can sort of put 2 and 2 together and assume he picked it up. Let's just go Tyrogue, it's not gonna leech seed here. And it's not gonna Grass Whistle, probably. Here's Relief. Shouldn't do too much. Okay. Let's just Mach Punch, because I want to do Mach Punch to to eventually evolve into Hitmonchan. Not too much damage, that's fine. We can go down here. And we can outspeed and hit it with... I mean, we can hit it with a grass move from Lotad. Since it's wet, it'll be super effective. Okay, it actually missed Grass Whistle. So we have a chance to knock it out here. Third Mach Punch, is it gonna be enough? Nope. Just barely missed it, and we should go down here, but that is what it is. And we'll go to Lotad. And use Bullet Seed, outspeed due to Flying Resonance, and knock it out, super effective. Nice, very good. So if you paid attention to Brandon's dialogue there, I believe he's saying that he's just gotten his 3rd gym badge and he's headed up north. Or maybe that's what he's gonna say now, actually. Heading to Diamore City. Diamore City is the city with the 4th gym badge, but there is not a 4th gym badge in the demo. And Diamore City is not in the demo. So I have the city planned and its name, but it's not in the demo, so you can't go there. And he leaves. So again, a bit brief, slightly cocky, but not necessarily a bad guy. Just maybe a bit of an attitude. As we heal up and run back down out to Route 7, where we have a lot to explore. Here we are, Route 7. And as you can see here immediately, we have these sort of black abysses. I don't know what you would call this. They're supposed to be sinkholes, as in like the ground has given way and created sort of a chasm here. Watch your footing out here, trainer. Large Pokemon dig tunnels under the rock, which causes sinkholes to appear. If you fall from this high up, well, let's not think about that. But you don't have to worry, you can't actually fall down anywhere. But let's go to the east first. I usually go to the east. So the east is sort of blocked off by a cut tree, and we have a little grappling hook shrub here. So you can't really do much in the east if you come here before you defeat the 2nd gym, but we've obviously already defeated the 2nd gym leader. So we have cut, and we have the grappling hook too. So let's grapple over here, because there seems to be an item. And what's this? Well, there is an item. This is the 4th yellow shard, I believe. And there's also another Venomoth. So if you remember from the last episode, I said that we would be running into more Venomoths. We ran into one last episode, which was, I mean, the regular Venomoth, the purple Venomoth. This is a blue Venomoth. It's the shiny coloration of a Venomoth, but it is not a shiny. You might think it is a shiny the first time you see it, and I wouldn't blame you, but this is just a regular Venomoth, because I decided to have Venomoth come in 3 different colors. Purple, blue, and yellow. The yellow one we haven't seen yet, but we will see that much later actually. Not even close to seeing that one. Before I keep talking about that, what was our plan to defeat these? They're pretty strong. Let's try slowing it down. As it wastes its turn on Rage Powder. So the reason I decided to have 3 Venomoths is that I came up with a ability that I thought was pretty fun. An ability that unfortunately doesn't really seem to take effect now as I'm playing through. It didn't last episode, and I said that it was due to us not using any contact moves, which is not true. We used contact moves. We are really outspeeding this. Oh yeah, Dodo is really fast. So I'm not honestly quite sure what's going on there. It's most definitely a bug, unfortunately. There are definitely some bugs specifically in the battle system of the demo, but those will be fixed over time. So we're probably not going to see the ability, but I'll just explain what it is, because it sort of matters as I think of what to go with here. Does Lotad one shot with stab? Well, let's see. Maybe. But the idea is that when you hit Venomoth with a move, it's sort of like the scales it has on its wings or its body sort of scatter, and they contain like a poison. And that poison differs in effect depending on the color of Venomoth. So, oh, that definitely knocks us out. So purple Venomoth obviously scatters poison powder, because purple for poison, that makes sense. The yellow Venomoth, which we haven't seen here, or haven't seen yet, sorry, scatters a paralyzing poison, so that paralyzes you. I keep forgetting I don't have flying move on you, but I think we get one pretty soon. We'll just slow you down even more, slow this Venomoth down even more. And the blue one, this one, scatters a sleeping powder. So it just means that when you hit them with a damaging move, you get afflicted by a status. Although the blue one is slightly different, because I felt like inflicting sleep just by hitting Venomoth is pretty crazy strong. So I changed it to be the drowsy effect instead. So if you know the move Yawn, it makes your Pokemon drowsy, which means that you will fall asleep in one turn or the next turn, but you don't fall asleep immediately. So that makes the blue one a bit more balanced. There's a Fang. But as you can see now, we're not being affected by the powder anyways, because it seems to be bugged, unfortunately. Let's see, are we faster? 27 to 14, absolutely. Just knock you up with a water pulse then. Excellent. Alright. And these Venomoths all drop the evolution item for Venonat. They drop their specific one, so the blue one drops the blue dust scale. We're not gonna learn Storm actually. Yeah, the blue dust scale, the one we fought in the previous episode, drops the purple dust scale. Obviously the yellow one will drop the yellow dust scale when we find it. Now up here is Verdant Oak City. You can't grapple up there. I thought about having a grapple up there, but there are NPCs right next to that grappling point. I'll show you actually, as I run back to heal. I'll show you the NPCs first. So these little NPCs, right? They're right next to this little outcropping here, which I thought about putting a grappling point here. But if you grapple over to this point, you load into a new map. And when you load into this new map, these NPCs are loaded in, and they're too close to you when you sort of enter this map, the Verdant Oak City map. So they sort of pop in, if that makes sense. Like they just appear out of thin air in front of you, which looks really, well, bad. So I had two options. Either I move those NPCs so they're not right next to the potential grappling point, and they don't just pop in from thin air, or I just don't have the grappling point. And I honestly chose the easier option for me and just don't have a grappling point there. So you cannot grapple up back to Verdant Oak, but you can if you want to grapple down back to Route 7. So why not? Let's do that and resume where we were. Oh, by the way, I had to grapple, or I had to go through the text here again to grapple because we entered the new map. And the flag that tells you that you can use the grappling hook whenever you want, just by pressing A like this, is reset after every map load. Just like the HM strength works the same way. So that's why. Oh, Pokemon time. Oddish, of course. Now let's see if I remember the Pokemon that you can catch on this route. It's definitely Oddish, obviously. I want to say it's one of the birds, as always. It's probably Pidgey this time. And I do know we have some new Pokemon. We have Machop. We have Natu. I want to say we have Rookidee, but I don't think we have Rookidee yet. Actually, I'm quite sure. I might actually look it up on my second monitor here, but let's get through this fight first. Level 18 Pidgey shouldn't be an issue. We do have an electric type. I do wanna maybe swap over to it, but this is doing really good damage. Our electric type is only level 13, I believe, so it's not very strong. No problem. Level Level 22. Remember, we want to hit level 24 with Doduo so we can evolve it. Shroomish. Yeah, we could... Heck. 12 attack. No, you know what? That's gonna take 10 years. We'll just stay in. Our XP store will store a lot of the experience anyways. Heck. Oh, effect spore. Lovely. We love to see it. And Lychee. We should be fine. Nice. We have an outsped. Was that all he had? Yes, it was. Pokemon Ranger Foster. Alright, so let me just actually quickly see what Pokemon we have on this route. We have Oddish Pidgey, which I said we did. We also have Machop and Natu. I believe I said those two as well. Then we have Shroomish. And the last one... Okay, I thought maybe we would meet it here. But the last one is Makuhita. The little Sackboy character, which I like a lot. So plenty of new Pokemon to catch on this route. 3 new ones if I'm not incorrect. And obviously later on we'll get to the 4th secret lair, which I teased last episode, which has its own collection of unique Pokemon. So this guy is standing out here looking to the east. If you walk up to him, a sandstorm kicks up. And you can see there's sort of sand on the ground where you're standing and where he's standing. And that's because you're sort of really close to the desert now, so the sandstorm sort of reaches up to this point, or at least that was my idea. Because I think you can tell that where we're standing right now is like a sheer cliff wall that leads down. And this cliff wall leads down all the way to the desert. So the sand is sort of flowing up at the very edges here. So this guy just sort of explains that the desert is down here. He talks a bit about it. He says it's pretty dangerous. It's pretty hot. There's a lot of sandstorms. Not a lot of people go there. And the desert is not implemented in the demo. Or at least not completely. And that's a clue as to what we'll be finding out in the future. But that's still some episodes off, so I'm not gonna talk too much about the desert yet. Maybe a bit in the next episode, we'll see. Let's keep going. I might actually... No, you know what? I will not use a repel, but I will gently speed up the wild battles here. So we get through them at a good pace. Not really interested in catching any new Pokemon. So let's keep going. So I just wanted to show you here, you have a little grappling hook point. So you can grapple back over to the western part of the route, because the route is sort of split up into a western and eastern part, and here's just a little jump between them you can do, if you so wish. So let's head down through the eastern part and explore all of it first. Another trainer. There's 2 trainers in the eastern part. This is our first Pokemaniac. And I do believe the first Ekans actually that you see from a trainer. This shouldn't be an issue for us at all. Nice. Lotad, let's stay in. I feel like our Doduo is sort of our lead member here of the team right now. Its typing is very flexible, actually. Flying ground is super nice. Water gun, we are weak to though, but we should be okay. Ow. Okay, we're not that tanky. Alright. I do think we get a new move at 23. So let's actually switch. I think we have Bite on Marshtomp, right? Yes, we do. Marshtomp we also want to level up to 24, I believe, because I believe it's 24 that it learns its new ability. The one that, if you remember from the first episode, I said I really wanted to show off. We'll see if we hit that milestone this episode. If not, it'll probably be the next one. We are very close as we defeat Pokemaniac Simon. And pick up a little item here, Curled Paw. That's a bit of a reference to the monkey's paw, I guess. So maybe with that information you could guess what Pokemon it evolves. A monkey Pokemon. Alright, and let's remove this tree. And we've now cleared the eastern part of the route. Now we're back in the western part. I'm gonna quickly use a potion to heal up our Jojo again. We should go south to continue the route, but I want to show you the western part as well. And I want to do all the trainers. Oh, I don't know if you saw that. That was very sneaky. You might want to try and rewind the video to see if you saw that. But there's a little trainer there that's really hard to spot. But the battle transition actually makes it easier to spot him. Do you see the trainer? Oh, he just moved. He's hiding behind those trees over there. He only walks between those trees. So he's a ninja boy hiding in the trees. That was again just sort of a fun thing I thought of because I saw that the model for this NPC, the overworld model, is really small, so it sort of gets covered behind the trees so you don't see him. But then when he moves, you do see him. So my hope was that you would walk through this route and then suddenly you would see something move. And you just think, what was that? And then maybe you go over and check, or you'd wait a bit to see if it happens again. And then you could see that it's actually an NPC. Talk to him and he fights you. But he's just a trainer. It's nothing special that you get here. And we should get a good move here. Yes, we do. Aerial Ace. That is a huge damage upgrade. Lovely. Trapinch. Let's use our... Well, we could use Lotad actually. I like that. Because grass resists ground, right? Little Trapinch. Let's see if we get lucky with a Bullet Seed wet proc. Although it doesn't really matter, does it? Because we're already super effective against Trapinch. I don't know if I ever said that, but if you wet a Pokemon that's already weak to water, or sorry, weak to grass or electric, it doesn't get like more weak to those types. As we did not get a single wet proc. That's pretty unlucky. That's 50% each time. But it doesn't matter. Trapinch is knocked out. And we should get some nice experience. Almost level 18. Very good. Now this looks like a hiker. Hikers usually have rock and ground Pokemon, so I'm actually gonna lead with Lotad. And we can maybe get enough experience to level them up here. Hello, sir. I came here to climb, but there's no mountains around. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There are definitely no mountains. There are no mountains, but there is a huge desert, and I believe he comments on that after the battle, that maybe he should climb down to the desert, which sounds very dangerous. And speaking of the desert, or more specifically this route, the whole sinkhole idea was originally just something I thought would be just a fun visual thing to sort of make this route a bit distinct from other routes, and I think it works. But the more I thought about it, I thought it made sense that there's actually something in the desert, or Pokemon in the desert, that are like digging through the earth, or the sort of rock wall, that are causing these sinkholes to appear. So I have some future ideas for maybe like an area in the desert that you could walk into, and it's like a long tunnel in the rock wall, and it actually like leads up to this route, or it shows the Pokemon that have created the sinkholes, which I'm thinking are going to be Onyx and Steelix. So maybe some sort of event in the desert with those guys. I think would be pretty cool. This thing is Aerial Ace level 16. That is very early. It was Aerial Ace, right? Darn. That's pretty good coverage for level 16. Yeah. As we hit it 5 times. Wow, we are getting incredibly lucky in one way, and then just never getting wet on it, which is actually causing me to be bit suspicious at this point, and I'm scared that it's a bit bugged, because we have hit a lot of targets and never gotten wet at all. But if that is a bug, I'll have to eventually fix it. That's fine. And then another dude, okay. There's no way that our absorb is more than both seed, right? I think our special is a bit stronger, but wow. Okay, I guess our special attack is way stronger than our physical attack. Let's actually check. Attack 19, special 23. That's not a big difference. Although I guess bullet seed is 15 power. I nerfed bullet seed. I don't think it's 15 power in the base games. I think it's a bit higher. I made it slightly worse. I guess I thought the interaction with water resonance was kind of strong. Alright, we defeat Hiker Frederick. And with that, our Lotad is level 18. And I actually know, even though we haven't found the evolution requirements for Lotad, that I do believe it evolves at level 18 with water resonance. So this is an excellent place to show you guys that even if we haven't found an NPC or an item that tells us about the requirements, we are level 18 and we do have water resonance, so we can evolve anyways, and we don't need to find an NPC or anything. Very, very good. Now Lotad should be a lot stronger stat-wise. I think it learns Stomp when it evolves, which is kind of useless, but maybe we could learn that. Why not? Awesome. Yep, here's Stomp. Let's learn Stomp. We don't need Astonish. There's no ghost types in this game. I guess there are some psychic types, but it's fine. Very nice. So let's progress up the route. There's a trainer down there. We want to fight him. We want to sort of fight all the trainers and then go back up and heal and then keep going. Which do you prefer, grass or ground type Pokemon? Now that's interesting that he would ask us that. Personally, I'd probably say, I think ground, although grass is for sure one of my favorites as well. Okay, I want to try to bullet seed you, get lucky, get a wet proc, and then do super effective damage. It's just not happening, is it? No. Interesting. I do feel like maybe it is bugged. That's fine. Let's go into Doduo. Rose. It's not a problem, as we have Aerial Ace now, which should completely destroy. Yep. Level 19. Ninkada, we will also defeat with Aerial Ace. I think flying types are very good in the demo. The resonance as well, but just flying types in general. Lots of grass, lots of bugs. It's really good against second gym, obviously, and the forest. Alright, let's keep on going back north. Here we are, almost at the start now. So there's a lot of trainers on this route. They're almost all optional, I think, but there's a lot of XP to be had if you fight all of them. Oddish. Oh, we're still on Lombre. Yeah, we're just gonna make it easy for ourselves and immediately swap to Doduo. Shouldn't do too much. Aerial Ace. Bye bye. As we're almost level 24. Something we could do is actually meet Doduo's other level or evolution requirements. If you remember from the last episode, or I believe it was the last episode we looked at it, Doduo evolves once it's hit level 24, and once it's raised its speed to max once in a battle. Max speed being obviously 6 stages. So let's just do that so we have that done, as this Talo is double teaming, which doesn't do anything because we have aerial ace. Although this is a pretty funny looking battle, we're both just sort of flailing around. We are spinning, and Taylor is also spinning, dancing, I don't know. Wow. Exhilarating Pokemon battle. We are now maxed out speed, that's very fast. And it's got 200% evasion, which means absolutely nothing to a move that can never miss. So thank you for not damaging me. There's wet, so it's not completely bugged. We can get wet on the enemy. Just doesn't seem to ever be working on Bullet Seed. But yeah, I'm gonna stop harping on about that now. Nice, and that should be the last trainer for now. What are we looking actually? Okay, we are more than fine. I was gonna maybe run back up and heal, but we are absolutely chilling. Just gonna gently speed up the wild battles. We should try to knock you out though for some experience. Catching. Now there's an item that we haven't gotten. I'll just run for you. You're not weak to the lumbre. Here's an item. Sticky Honey. This teaches you how to evolve Teddiursa. If you remember from like episode 2 or 3 or something, we have the item to evolve Teddiursa, but this honey actually teaches you the requirement if you show it to the professor. Now here's a little NPC that we're gonna talk to. Wow. Very edgy. I had to write that dialogue, by the way, so I apologize. But yeah, she's just very edgy. Hex Maniac, I think that's the model, right? Looking out over this massive sinkhole, which just looks like an abyss. And we can cross this bridge on our own. When we do, we sort of see that the sandstorm appears, and the route actually continues down below. What you can do for fun, and this has no impact on anything, it does not matter, it's just here because I thought it was a fun thing, so I coded it in, and it stayed. So you can talk to this NPC, and if you want to, she can cross over with you. So she holds your hand, and she brings you over. Now remember, our character is a kid, or I think it's a kid, you can sort of, whatever, come up with any age you want. Old enough to start their own Pokemon journey at least. But she helps us across. And that's it. You can go back up again if you want to. Signpost, warning, dangers fall ahead. I believe there's one of those on the other side of the bridge too. And if you go east here, you see another NPC. Very similar to the one we saw on the other side of the bridge. And we will talk to her as well. Just as edgy as the previous one. However, now that we've talked to both of them, we sort of let them know that they are kindred spirits, I guess. And if you run back to the other one, we can see them both here. And we receive an item. Awesome. So that's just a fun little thing to get an item. It's really nothing special about it. The Destiny Knot item, which is often used by players during breeding to get, what is it? Correct natures, correct IVs. I don't remember exactly what Destiny Knot is used for, but it's used for something in breeding. Which doesn't matter in my game because breeding is not available. So you can only use Destiny Knot for its in-battle function, which is, I believe, at least that it confuses the target if we get confused. I think that's what it said. So pretty useless, but it's there. Nidoran. I feel like you're gonna hit me with a poison move, so we're gonna go to Doduo, who's just carrying us at this point. Oh, horn attack, that's fine. Bulldoze should knock you out. Without a problem. Abra. Nice. I think I had Abra on this route before. I think I did at least, but I removed it. It's somewhere else now. You can catch an Abra in this demo, but you have to be pretty lucky. Because it's, spoilers, part of one of the secret layers. Speaking of secret layers, I did say that we're coming up on one, which we are. It is at the end of this route. No problem. Let us go here, grab some berries. So I speed through a wild battle. No, we're actually gonna obviously do this, since Dodo seems to be our carry. Some berries here. We'll pick up cherry and pecha berries. Very good. Now I could jump down south, but we're gonna just go a bit east to show you. Oh, there's Sackboy. We one shot with aerial ace. It's pretty tanky. Nice. We are pretty strong though. Almost 24. I'm just gonna go east to show you the whole route. Yep. Down. And then to the east. There's a bunch of ledges here, but this is the way you have to go. You get to choose if you want to go down to the right. There's a trainer. Want to go down to the left? There's some grass. You choose what you want. If you change your mind, you can do this in the way. You can grapple hook back if you have the grappling hook. This is the last trainer of the route. Nidoran, in contrast to the other trainers, Nidoran female. We knock it out without a problem, as we should now hit 24, which means we're about to get ourselves a Dodrio, which I'm very much looking forward to. I think it's going to be absolutely broken. It's going to destroy everything, although it is still pretty frail, I guess. Aerial ace for you. Nice. Alright. So let's just jump down here. Here is another little sandy patch. If you walk into these sandy patches here, the sandstorm kicks in. Because remember, the sandstorm is coming from the desert. But there's no real reason to do that. Actually, that's a complete lie. There is a reason. This is the only place in the demo that there's a sandstorm. And there is, I think, one Pokemon, maybe two, that actually require you to be walking around in a sandstorm for it to evolve. So that's a sort of sneaky way for me to include a sandstorm here. There will be more sandstorm areas later in the full game, but for now, this is it. So, it's actually of some importance. Alright, Doduo. It is time for you to evolve. Evolution menu. Level to 24. Has a race speed to max once during a battle. Let's evolve you. Don't think I ever used Dodrio in any of my testing playthroughs of this game. But it should be pretty darn strong compared to everything else so far. It's fully evolved. Beautiful. That's actually a really nice sprite, I like it. Alright, Dodrio. 51 attack. We do have minus attack nature, 51 speed. We are pretty fast and pretty strong. Awesome. It's massive too. That's really cute. Right, so this down here is the way to the next route, but we're actually going to sidetrack to the left. I'll show you the Snorlax here. Chilling in the trees. It doesn't do anything, it is sleeping. But if you remember last time you saw a Snorlax, it definitely came back to haunt us, and this one might do that too. Now running up here, it just sort of brings you to this little ledge, which is back here, so you can run up the route. I'm gonna snap back. But we don't need to do that, obviously. That looks awfully a lot like a secret lair. That's because it is, but we can't reach it from this angle. So we'll run back around and we'll head up here. And we'll talk to this guy. Is there one around here? Oh, hi. Do you know what a secret lair is? It's a hideout that a Pokemon has made for itself. If you can find it and run up to the Pokemon inside, you can try to catch it. I swear there's one around here, but I can't seem to find it. So this is the second NPC, I believe. The first one being the lady on Route 3. That sort of clues you in to these secret lairs that I've littered around the region. This one you have to jump down here, and you can jump to the left, and there's actually a sneaky little path that brings us right to it. Now in here we can catch, I believe, Cubone, Trapinch, I think Rockruff, yeah, Rockruff, and Helioptile. Now both Rockruff and Helioptile are they generation... Are they both generation 7? I think they might both be generation 7 Pokemon. So not generation 4 or 1, 2, or 3, I mean. A bit later. But we got Cubone, which is quite cool because Cubone has a very nice new ability that I made for it. I think Cubone and maybe one other Pokemon learns it in the demo. I don't quite remember what the other one is though. And we will hopefully see the ability trigger here. I'm just gonna save state in case it doesn't trigger, in case it doesn't decide to use an attacking move. Because this should knock it out, right? No, it doesn't, okay. Thank you, boy. Thank you, girl, sorry. Rock Tone. How did I miss Rock Tone? Aerial Ace again. While Cubone fainted, attempt to catch it. Okay, well, I'm actually gonna jump back here. So what is it using here? Is it using a non-attacking move? Because we wanted to use an attacking move. Hail Whip, okay. So the ability I've made is called Last Stand. And it triggers if your Pokemon is knocked out, but it was about to use an attacking move. No. Did it really use something else again? Okay. Oh, you're swaggering me. Ah, that's annoying. Whatever. Save state again. Of course we hurt ourselves. Okay, now if we just hit it, we'll see Last Stand trigger. Okay, nice. So we knock it out. Last Stand triggers. The while Cubone makes a Last Stand, it uses Bone Club, which doesn't affect us, unfortunately, so Cubone didn't get anything done. But yeah, that's the ability. So you get like a last shot at firing off your attacking move. Now you might think about Grass Resonance here, because if you remember from the episode with the gym leader, she has a Voltorb that explodes, uses self-destruct, and then it heals back up using Grass Resonance. Now you could think that there's a similar case here with Cubone and Last Stand, however that I have coded out of the game. Because that's sort of like... Because it happens at the end of the turn, before the opponent has, or after the opponent has attacked. If you heal from using a move with Last Stand, you basically just become invincible. Because something will attack you, knock you out, and then you will attack back and heal a little bit. And that's the end of the turn. And then that can just go on forever and you can never faint. Which is not my intention. And actually that interaction was very bugged. So I had to go in and make a specific case for that to work. So you do faint after you use Last Stand, even if you heal yourself. But okay, so that's the end of Route 7. We just entered Route 8 as we passed through the grass here. So there's some new Pokemon here now. And you need Cut to progress here. So if you haven't defeated the second gym, and if you haven't gotten Cut, you cannot get through here. But luckily we've done all that. So we can just make our way through here as we enter the campsite of Route 8. Now there's a lot to go through here. There's a new NPC down there with a new model that I made. And plenty to do. However, we are... not gonna say we're running low on time, but we've made pretty good time with this episode, I think. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to end it here. We're gonna save. And we'll just have to keep going next time as we sort of figure out what this campsite is for. We're going to explore to the south, we're going to explore to the east, we're going to see a house in the woods with a lady who grows a bunch of berries. We're going to see the entrance to the desert actually, but it's unfortunately blocked off for us. And then after that we're going to head west onto the maze route, as I call it, because it's a bit of a maze. But that's for next time. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.